A guided meditation based on the account of Mary Magdalene going to the tomb on that first Easter morning. It is the early hours of the morning. The sun is just beginning to rise up from the horizon, and the birds are beginning to move around in the sky above you. You can hear them call to each other, and it stops you in your tracks. As you gaze up at them, you think about the events of the last few days. How you had witnessed the horrific torture of your beloved Jesus. How you had watched as they brought him through the streets to the place of his crucifixion, and then how you had to bury your head in your hands as they nailed him to the cross. You had tried all you could to comfort Jesus' mother, but you were immersed in your own grief. So deep was it that you did not care what happened to you. You did not even care who saw you, or that you may be forever associated with Jesus. All you cared about was your beloved Jesus. Do the birds in the sky care? Surely they must have sensed something was going on. After all, when the sky went dark as Jesus breathed his last, there was not a sound to be heard. It was as if everyone and everything had held their breath for that moment. Now it seemed that nothing has stopped. The world is still turning. Life is still going on. How do you feel? Mary, the mother of James and Salome, call to you. You pull your shawl closer to you and shudder at the coldness of the air. You walk with your head down, clutching the linen and spices you have brought with you, and make your way to the tomb. The bottom of your skirt is wet from the dew on the ground, and it sticks to your legs, but that doesn't stop you. As you walk, no one speaks. Everyone is wrapped up in their own thoughts. You are thinking about the disciples. How do you feel about them? Have you spoken with them since Jesus' death? Are you cross with them for not being with you at the foot of the cross? Perhaps you are concerned about them. Their grief is as real as yours, and although they are not behaving the same way as yourself, you know that everyone is different, and that is why Jesus loved them all. As you turn down the path towards the place where Jesus has been laid, you see that the stone has been rolled away. You run past the other women and quickly look in, but there is no body. How do you feel? Panicked? Skeptical? Helpless? You turn and shout to the other women, "They have taken the Lord from the tomb." Their faces reflect how you feel. Salome drops the linen she is carrying, whilst Mary bursts into tears. Who could have done this? Thoughts burst through your head, so much so that you can't think straight. You decide to head back to the disciples and to Peter. He will know what to do. Out of breath, you knock loudly on the door of the house where Peter is staying. Surely he must be up. He most probably can't sleep at the moment as well. The door opens and Peter stands there, his hair dishevelled and his eyes red. Behind him comes John, who also looks tired and drained. You hold on to Peter and say, "They have taken the Lord from the tomb, and we do not know where they have put him." Peter looks puzzled, and John looks shocked, but ushers the other women inside. Peter grabs his cloak and heads off towards the tomb with John following close behind. You decide to go back to the tomb as well. You can't rest until you know where he is. Your skirt feels heavy as you run along the cobbled path and through the streets of Jerusalem. You find it hard to catch your breath as you are trying to keep the tears from falling. You clasp onto a window ledge and try to steady your breathing before you then head out from the city gates to where the tomb is. What thoughts are going through your mind? By the time you reach the tomb, you assume that the disciples have been and gone. No one is there. You sink to your knees. Your whole body aches. Your chest aches from the sobs that come from deep within. All the strength that you had now falls away from you and leaves you full of despair. Time passes, and you gradually make your way to your feet and look once more into the tomb. Two people who are dressed in white are sitting where the body of Jesus once laid. You wipe your eyes and try to focus on who is before you. One speaks and says, "Woman, why are you crying?" You reply, "They've taken my Lord away, and I do not know where they have put him." Who do you think these people are? Perhaps they know where the body has been placed. You are suddenly aware of another person standing behind you, and you turn around. Is he the gardener? Perhaps he will know what has happened. Or perhaps he had something to do with it. So you ask him, "If you took him away, sir, tell me where you've put him, and I will go and get him." With a little laugh, the man, his voice loving and familiar, calls your name. Mary. You recognize him instantly, and with sobs and laughter, you throw your arms around his legs. "Rabbi," you cry. All his talk of after 3 days, Son of Man being lifted up, conquering death, it all falls into place. The power of love and forgiveness has overcome the horror of the death on the cross. Jesus bends down to you and gently lifts you up and says, "Do not cling to me, Mary. There is much to be done. You must go and tell my disciples what you have seen." With those words, he departs, but your heart is filled with such joy, and you hurry off to tell the disciples. Imagine Jesus calling your name. Turn around and see him now. Know that his death on the cross was for you. He knows you, all your failings and misdoings, and he comes to you out of love and compassion. What he did for you because he loves you so much. Like Mary, let go of all feelings of guilt, be renewed by the forgiveness of God, and step forward, walking in the truth of the resurrection of Jesus Christ.